Welcome back, Truth Seeker. On May 20th, in my coverage of the news, I covered the death of Cheers actor George Wendt, who played Norm. A lot of you have asked me to cover the death since. What I would ask you guys is to watch the videos I put out, and since YouTube doesn't really give many people notifications for my channel, to actively go to the channel and click on the videos tab to see if there's new videos, or the live tab to see if there's a new live stream. So, to cover again quickly, George Wendt in his passing looks highly ritualistic. He died on the 32nd anniversary of the end of Cheers, which ended May 20th, 1993. He just died May 20th, 2025. This becomes extra interesting when you learn gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. Again, a lot of people roll their eyes at this knowledge, even though it's undeniable. I didn't make this up. I learned about it in a book written in 1926 called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And it revealed that the English language, the reason there's an order to the alphabet is because there's a number behind each letter, which is something that goes back to the original languages, going back to the time of Sumer. All of the biblical languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, Ancient Greek, every letter is a number. Within those systems, there are different ways to calculate the value of the letter. In English, there's 4 simple ciphers, the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. The reverse alphabetic order, Z is 1 back to A is 26. And both orders with numerology applied. Cheers equates to 32, like he died on the 32nd anniversary when you run the alphabetic order in reverse and apply numerology to each letter. C would become the 24th letter going in reverse. The numerology of 24 is 2 plus 4 is 6, so that's why C is 6. H would become the 19th letter. The numerology of 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1, so H is 1. E would become the 22nd letter in reverse. 2 plus 2 is 4, so on. Now, the theme song for Cheers is Where Everybody Knows Your Name. The gematria of that song equates to 140. May 20th is the 140th day of the year. So Cheers ended on the 140th day of the year, and George Wendt died on the 140th day of the year. The bar is known as Cheers Beacon Hill, which equates to 76. Most of the headlines said he died at 76. Some headlines said he passed at 77. Boston equals 77. The bar is supposed to be in Boston. It is based on a bar in Boston, but it was actually shot at Paramount Studios, as it says here, in Hollywood. And keep in mind, if you die at 76, you did die in your 77th year of life, so the Boston connection's there either way. But yeah, there was a discrepancy in some of the headlines. And keep in mind the day he died, Cannonball Day. That's May 20th. It's very special to the Jesuits. If you're not familiar with the Jesuits, they're the reason this country was created in a sense. Not like they were supposed to be the creators of it, but the thing trying to be escaped from. Again, the Catholic Church and the Jesuits are what ruled over Europe when this nation was being founded. That's why Jefferson and Adams warned that the Jesuits, should they come out of suppression, which they were under when this nation was founded, that they could subvert the nation, and surely they have. Again, that's why the nation's capital was moved to D.C., and the first recognized president, George Washington, was the same year the first Jesuit university was established. But anyway, if you're new here, what I show is how the Jesuits gave you the language, English as you know it, and the calendar at the end of the 16th century. And they really do run the show, and they perform their rituals, and they work by a numerical code that's important to them. 32 is an important number to them. Their logo has 32 sun rays, just like when the Dodgers won the World Series, the 116th World Series the other year, they broke the 32-year drought versus the Rays. Again, sports, entertainment, government, media, they control the show. They work by their code. Keep in mind the superior general, their leader, is 76 right now. So I have a few other notes here about the Jesuits and their symbolism, and George Wendt dying on Cannonball Day, which again is the day to remember the leader of the Jesuits, their founder, Ignatius of Loyola, being shot. And of course, if you followed my work during the scandemic, the Jesuits ran the whole scandemic. That's why everything was a Jesuit ritual. Did you see how the FDA changed the shot schedule on Cannonball Day? Again, it's a day of ritual, and then oftentimes it's a day of death. Billy Cannon died on Cannonball Day. Again, Eileen Cannon wanted Trump in her courtroom last year on Cannonball Day. Year before that, the alarm went off, and emergency at the Cannon building in D.C. on Cannonball Day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With regards to a bar and shots, cheers, you take shots at the bar. It's just like the scandemic. The first person to get the shot in the U.S. her name was Sandy, if you remember Sandy Lindsay, and it was the anniversary of Sandy, Hook, a different type of shots. Yeah, that was December 14th, 2020, but again, now the FDA changes the schedule on the same day George Wendt dies for the shots, so to help you put all the little jokes together. That's what the Jesuits are doing. They treat us like we're little infants. Just like when the adults are in the room telling the jokes around the little kids, they're not worried about the little kids understanding the inappropriate jokes because they know it's just way over their head. And that's what this channel's doing is, helping people grow up out of infancy and see what's really going on in the world. Like Jim Irsay, dead right before the Indiana Pacers tip-off versus the Knicks when he owns the Indiana football team, supposedly, but I've always told you guys he's a puppet. Again, he's dead at 65. Horse equals 65. He started with horse racing in Baltimore, like the Colts, who he supposedly owned, started in Baltimore, and he's dead a week after the Preakness, and he's dead right before the Indy 500, and like I said, the Pacers tip-off. Don't forget, the Colts won the Super Bowl when Prince performed, and he bought Prince's guitar by the numbers after Prince died by the numbers, and Prince equals 65 like horse. Again, Jim Irsay's dead at 65. The NBA Finals start on 6/5. He died 101 days after the last Super Bowl at 65. Philadelphia equals 101 and 65. And if you saw the NFL news, they voted earlier in the day that Jim Irsay died. The owners did. Jim Irsay got to vote. He got to say, "Go Pacers" on his social media all before his death on the same day. But if you saw the winning vote for the Eagles, or the Eagles team to be able to continue to do the tush push, they got 22 votes in favor, like Eagles equals 22, like how they gave the Chiefs their 22nd postseason loss in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles lost with 22 points, and 3 out of the 4 final scores for the Eagles playoff run, 22 was in the final score. Again, learn this knowledge. See how it's all scripted. And don't forget, when it comes to the Super Bowl, what are they playing for? They're playing for the Jesuit Lombardi Trophy, named after the Jesuit Vince Lombardi, who died unexpectedly one day before the 70 season began, when Vatican equals 70. And again, that's where the Jesuits, that's where they serve. The man in the Vatican, the Pope. But yeah, anyway, got a little bit long-winded. Just wanted to recap, the other big story that just happened. Jim Irsay, because I'm sure a lot of people won't see that either. But yeah, this is the second video here for George Wendt, so hopefully you guys catch it this time. Until next time.